This video was designed to talk you through the UK migration case study. If you look at the red text on the first page of your ebook, you'll see that you need to evaluate the impacts of migration into sections, that's service and economy. You also need to be able to describe the number of people migrating, and you need to be able to describe their areas of origin and their areas of destination. If you look at the next page in your ebook, you'll see that it talks about number of migrants between 2005 and 2006. 385,000 people left the UK on a long-term basis, so you need to be able to quote those dates and figures. These people went mainly to Spain and Australia. You need to be able to quote Spain and Australia as areas of destination. Between 2005 and 2006, 574,000 people entered the UK on a long-term basis. So again, you need to be able to quote those dates and figures. And in total, 1.5 million people have been added to the UK population in the last 10 years. 2/3 of these people are from Asia or Africa, so those are areas of origin, which you need to be able to quote. And if migration continues at this same rate, the UK population will be 70 million by 2031. So all figures and dates that you need to be able to quote. So that covers both the number of people migrating, i.e. in and out of the country, areas of origin and areas of destination. I'm now going to talk about the evaluation of the impacts under service and economy. That's found on the next page of your ebook. Impact number 1 talks about migrants acting as a drain on public services. Public services and benefits. In 1999-2000, 28.8 billion was paid to overseas-born migrants. These migrants drain our public money without contributing any taxes. Impact number 2 says that immigrants can contribute to our government by paying taxes. The point explain expand of this point then goes on to say that in 1999-2000, 31.2 billion was paid in taxes. This means they contribute more than 2.5 billion in taxes. Impact number 3 talks about them acting as a drain on our economy. It says many male migrant workers send their wages home to their families in other countries. They estimate around 10 million each day is sent out of the UK. Impact number 4 talks about many migrant workers are motivated, and there's anecdotal evidence that many of them are hard working. This is because they want a better way of life themselves and their families, and this means that migrant workers can increase production as they are willing to work hard. Impact number 5 increases the demand for housing. This can cause house prices to increase. Some estimates suggest that this may push prices up by as much as 10%. Number 6, research suggests that migrant workers do not reduce the chances of British workers getting a job because they're actually accessing jobs that British people don't want to do. It's because they bring different skills or willing to work in jobs we don't want to do, and this contributes positively to the UK economy. Number 7 says that some research also suggests that migrant workers compete for UK jobs. They're willing to work for lower wages, so are employed before British nationals, and this damages social cohesion and causes problems, i.e. community difficulties. Final impact is number 8. Large numbers of migrants coming into an area can put pressure on local services. School places can be put under pressure and local children may lose out. This puts pressure on the government to provide additional school places. If we come back to have a look at the evaluation, we've done that through our point, explain, expand, but we've got to say whether they impact on the service or the economy, so we've got to evaluate. The public services one is definitely a positive. The paying of taxes is definitely a positive. Sorry, let me just go back and check. Immigrants can act as a drain on public services is definitely not a positive. Immigrants act as a drain is more than certainly a negative. The payment of taxes by the immigrants is certainly a positive. Impact 3, immigrants act as a drain on our economy, absolutely a negative. Impact 4, Many migrant workers are motivated and work very hard. Clearly a positive. Impact 5. The influx of migrants can increase demand for housing. This is a bit of a difficult one because it could be viewed as a positive if you're wanting to sell houses or you own more than one house, but it also could be viewed as a negative if you're trying to get on the housing ladder. Impact 6. Research suggests that migrant workers do not reduce the chances of us actually getting a job. It's a positive. Some research also says that they can compete for a job. Negative. And large numbers can put pressure on local services. Again, clearly a negative. If we come across and have a look at this example question, command word is evaluate. So we've got to give positives and negatives, and they actually say that in the question this time. For one named country, which is the UK, within the European Union, which you've studied. Level 368 mark scheme, this will be a balanced answer that includes more than one positive and one negative. So more than one positive and more than one negative. It includes two or more specific fact figures and an evaluative conclusion is drawn. If we come across to here, we should be able to produce a plan of an example answer for this question. First thing for any of these case study questions is that we are going to state our case study. In this case, that is the UK. I would then take a subtitle positives, and I would select two positives from the list, and I would do the point, explain, expand. I would then take a subtitle negatives, and I would do two of those, and I would write my point, explain, expand. Remember for top level 3 that some sort of evaluative conclusion is drawn. So at the end, once I've written that, I will put in some personal opinion on what I believe about this question. So some sort of personal conclusion. So if it's evaluating the positive and negative effects, I would put in a statement that says something about how I feel about the situation. Do I personally feel that it's a positive for the UK? As I've weighed up the positives and negatives, or do I feel it's a negative? No correct answer. You can sit on either side of the fence. If you come down and look at this, you can see here that we have an example answer. It states the country, which is the UK. These migrants have both positive and negative impacts. Large numbers of migrants can put a strain, is their point, which is a negative, on local services, and they may increase the demand for housing in some cities like London. They may even push up house prices by as much as 10%. However, it's estimated that this will take 20 years to happen. Economically, migrants have a positive impact as they often occupy either low-paid work, which local people are overqualified to do, or fill gaps in specific professions such as nursing. A second point, explain, expand. They also add money through paying taxes. As they work in 2000, for example, they paid about 31.2 billion in income tax. As 25.8 billion was paid out in benefits, they contributed 2.5 billion more than they used to. So overall, the positive benefits outweigh the negatives. What I'm underlining in blue here would be considered the evaluative conclusion drawn at the end. However, in this example, I think it could be improved upon.